So try to do the best you can and do the best they can when they're in their house. But when they go, just never cut them off. Always be there with your arms ready to receive them. For then, not only are you doing what's right for them, you're doing what's right for the Most High. Notice what the Creator says in the book of Malachi. According to the book of Malachi, the 4th chapter, I believe I want to start reading in the 5th verse. Or is that the 4th verse? The 5th verse, right? 4th? 4th. All right, let's go to 4th.
Remember ye the law of
Moses. See, the last thing it said in remember ye the law of Moses. Why would he tell us to remember that at the end of the book? If he really changed. And his son came to die for the sins of the world. And he's already died and shed our blood. And now we're saved through grace, not through the law. Why would the Creator tell us through the mouth of Malachi, remember ye
the law of Moses,
my servant,
which I commanded
unto him
in Horeb for all Israel.
For how many of Israel? For all Israel.
With the statutes
and
the
judgments.
Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet.
I'll send you Elijah the prophet.
Before the coming of the great.
And I'm going to send him before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh.
And he shall turn the heart.
And he shall turn the hearts
of the fathers.
To the
children. And the heart of the children.
And the hearts of the children.
To their fathers. Lest I
come and smite the earth with a curse. That what the Creator said? So you always want to be open. Always want to be kind. But when they're in their house, they always got to do what you tell them. If they're under your house. Even your daughter is 50 years old. She living under your house. If she make an oath, it can't stand if the father hear it. He can disavow it. The father can do that because you're still in their house. They still got to do what mom and daddy doing. If they 50 years old in my house, I say be at home when the street lights come home. That means be at home when the street lights come on. Of course, I ain't going to be like that. I'll tell them 1 or 2 in the morning if they're grown and working. But you can't come in here no 3 or 4 in the morning. You might as well stay out the street. You're totally disrespecting you. When they're little teenagers, I tell them, well, they got little boys, I tell them the street lights. That's 8 o'clock. We seen the street lights come on, we broke our neck getting in. We got a little older and teenage, we got 10 o'clock. We out of school, we got 12. And we grown and live in that house, we can come in and just so you be in by 1:30, 2 o'clock. But even when you're grown, you don't come in at 3 and 4 in the morning. You're still, that's totally disrespectful. And I don't care if you're 50 years old, you live in your parents' house, you do what they say. And Yahweh expect them to live according to your rules. You can't say, well, this is my daughter and she left home and she's back staring at me now and she got her own kids and she's on. Listen, as long as she's staying in your house, she got to go by your rules. And you better be going by Yahweh's rules. And that's reading, it says in the book of Genesis 18 again, it says, what did Yah say?
For I know him.
I know him. Isn't that beautiful? I know him.
That he will command.
That he will do what?
Command.
What's a command? That's not a request. Request means that you do it if you want to. You got a choice. But when you make a command, you don't have a choice, do you?
That he will command.
That he will command.
His children.
His children.
And his household.
And his household.
After him.
After him. Now that don't mean being like that lady, what's the little model name, beat up all the household people? No, that don't mean like that now. Just throw phones at them and get mad and jump on them. That means because that wasn't their maid servant. That's just somebody hired servant. So there's a difference between a hired servant and a maid servant. I mean, we got to be kind, but we got to rule with kindness according to the words of the Most High. And the Almighty respected Abraham because of this. And it says,
and they shall keep the way of Yahweh.
And they shall keep the way of Yahweh.
To do justice.
To do justice.
And judgment.
And judgment.
That Yahweh may bring upon Abraham.
And that Yahweh may bring upon Abraham.
That which he has spoken
That
of him.
which they have spoken. See, when you raise your children right, even when they go out of the house, they're not stealing. They're not lying. They're not cheating. They're not no adulteress, because you didn't raise them that way. And pretty soon they're going to go back to all the ways, but there's certain things they're not going to do. Now, if you got them in a household and they lying and cheating and everything, then you better look at yourself in the mirror. Say, what am I doing wrong? Because you're doing something wrong. Keep reading.
And Yahweh said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me. And if not, I will know. And the men turned their faces from thence and went toward Sodom. But Abraham stood yet before Yahweh. And Abraham drew near and said, wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked?
But see, Abraham is not as knowledgeable as you. Abraham didn't have the trials and tribulations of King Solomon and King David and Daniel and Hananiah and Mishael and Azariah. Abraham hadn't read about Isaiah and Ezekiel and Malachi. You have all this wisdom at your disposal in a book where you can read it every night. So I wouldn't have had to ask the question of Yah, would you destroy the righteous with the wicked? Because I know he wouldn't. You know that he wouldn't. But as I said, Abraham was a righteous man, but he didn't have all the knowledge of Yah as you do this day. So he had doubt in his mind. He had reservations in his mind to the extent he had to approach the Almighty and said, will you destroy the righteous with the wicked? And what did Yah say?
Peradventure, there be 50 righteous within the city.
And Abraham said, peradventure, there's 50 righteous men in Solomon. Yah?
Wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein, that be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked?
Yah never said he would, did he? What? Did he? But this is for your understanding. The Almighty suffered Abraham to approach him so that you could learn a lesson through this. The Almighty created that doubt in order for you and your sons to know the ways of Yahweh. So when they tell you about JC dying for your sins, you could pull this out and show it to them.
That be far from thee